Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Easter is coming, and that means it's time to do some spring cleaning. It's time to upgrade and refresh your home today and save up to 30% off store-wide. Change off that old lounge chair, dining room table, or any furniture item now and save big. Plus, shop our large selection of appliances, televisions, and electronics for the biggest deals. No cash, no problem. Shop with Courts Ready Finance and pay $0 for 30 days. And before you check out, don't forget to add extended warranty with our Quartz Super Shield product, which will protect your purchase for up to 4 years. This offer is available online at shopquartz.com for a limited time only. Act now before the deals are gone. Conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, there is considerable merit in the appeal of the High Court's judgment in what has been dubbed the vaccine case by many in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is according to Senior Counsel Anthony Estefan, who is a part of the legal team representing the government. We hear more from Senior Counsel Estefan.
We have advised the government that we believe that there is considerable merit in an appeal on the merits. And we have also advised the government that in the public interest, it is required, an appeal is required, for the very simple reason that the government needs to know and to have the guidance of a higher court on what needs to be done or should be done and which ought not to be done. When the government and the executive branch of the government and the cabinet are confronted with a crisis like an infectious disease that kills and hospitalizes its citizens, to say the least. So we have advised the government. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has accepted our advice and instructed us to proceed. And proceed we will. They intend by Wednesday at the latest to file a notice of appeal and an application for a stay of execution of the judgment so that we can proceed with an appeal as soon as possible.
That was Senior Counsel Anthony Estefan. The High Court on Monday ruled that the government's COVID-19 vaccine requirement and the dismissal springing from it are unconstitutional and void. Estefan said while they respect the right of the High Court to deliver a judgment, they also believe they have a duty, if not an obligation, to review the reasons advanced by the judge and advise the government if there is merit in an appeal or whether or not the public interest demands there be an appeal. A 50-year-old Mesopotamia man has been accused of stealing nearly $1,000 in livestock as well as maliciously wounding another man. According to police reports, Kendall Homer, 50-year-old laborer of Mesopotamia, was arrested and charged on March 11th with the offenses of theft and wounding. Homer is accused of stealing one brown, black, and white ram goat valued at $900 EC, the property of a 40-year-old farmer of Cane End. Homer was also accused of unlawfully and maliciously wounding a 57-year-old farmer of Mesopotamia by chopping him on the left side of his head and elbow with a cutlass at Mesopotamia. The 50-year-old Mesopotamia resident is expected to appear at the Serious Offences Court to answer the charges. Still on the local scene, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has called on communities and organizations across St. Vincent and the Grenadines to not let the nation's young men deviate from the straight and narrow. The Prime Minister was at the time speaking at the annual National Heroes Day wreath-laying ceremony at Dorsetshire Hill. We hear more from Prime Minister Gonsalves.
We have to have a collective ownership in solidarity. You can't allow the young males in the homes and in the schools and the churches and the communities to go away from the straight and narrow path to do productive work. We have to remember and be inspired by Chatoyer and Duvalier and all our heroic forebears and those from the contemporary period.
That was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. The Prime Minister said while the vast majority of males in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are doing good and productive work, there is a minority that is only set on criminality. He emphasized the importance of those in the homes, churches, and the wider community to work with them to get them back on the right path. On to news in the region. A magistrate had remanded to custody a parent in Antigua who attacked the principal of a primary school after he had become unhappy with a disciplinary action taken against his child. Michael Samuel will return to court on April 17th after he made an appearance before Chief Magistrate Joanne Walsh on charges of malicious damage to a gold chain, trespassing, and battery. The Antiguan school principal, Christopher Roberts, had to be treated at the hospital following the March 8th incident. He had complained of an injury to his shoulder and was released the same day. Several schools in Antigua staged sit ins on Friday last week, demanding improved security on their compounds. In recent years, the use of corporal punishment in schools has been the subject of much debate in Antigua and Barbuda. The government of Grenada has expressed regret over the upsurge in gang violence that is occurring in St. Lucia. Grenada says that gang violence, which has claimed 7 lives in the southern town of Vieux-Fort since last Thursday, has caused unnecessary loss of life and emotional distress to families and communities and has also disrupted the education of children and business activity in affected areas. Grenada's Prime Minister Decon Mitchell, who is the chairman of the Regional Security System, the RSS, has responded favorably to a request from St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip Pierre for the RSS to support the Royal Police Force of St. Lucia. Personnel from the RSS are expected to arrive in St. Lucia from this week. The Caribbean region is proudly a zone of peace, a designation that we cannot take for granted, especially given current global tensions, Mitchell said. Grenada said it will stand with the people of St. Lucia in their fight against criminals. On the international scene, floods caused by torrential rains have hit 2 provinces in Turkey that were devastated by last month's earthquake, killing at least 5 people and increasing the misery of thousands who were left homeless, officials said. A number of other people were reported missing as well in Wednesday's floods, Al Jazeera reports. 1 person was killed in the town of Tut in southeastern Adıyaman province, where surging water swept away a container home where a group of earthquake survivors were living. 4 people were reported missing. 4 other people were killed and 2 firefighters were reported missing from the floods in neighboring Şanlıurfa province. Several people were evacuated from a drenched campsite in Şanlıurfa where earthquake survivors were sheltering in tents. Patients were also evacuated from a hospital. Television footage from there also showed floodwaters surging along a street and sweeping away cars. Finally, in sports, Erling Haaland scored 5 goals to power Manchester City into the quarterfinals of the Champions League with a 7-0 win over RB Leipzig in the Etihad Stadium. The tie had been precariously balanced after a 1-1 draw in Germany, but Haaland took the game away from City's opponents with a first-half hat-trick and added 2 more before the hour on an astonishing night. His tally for the season now stands at 39. Erling Haaland has broken Manchester City's 94-year-old record for most goals scored in a season. His 39 goals beats the previous record of Tommy Johnson that has stood since 1929. Haaland also became the youngest player to reach 30 goals in Champions League history. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Quartz St. Vincent Limited.
It's the Quartz Optical Annual Frame Event. Get up to 85% off on selected frames. Book your appointment at www.quartzoptical.com. Get that frame today with no cash from 3 to 24-month credit plans. You don't want to miss it. The Annual Frame Event, up to 85% off, only at Quartz Optical. See in store for details. Quartz Optical.